Alright there, so quick video on BitTorrent tokens. Someone's asked me to have a look at it, and I used to look at this, and I did okay out of it for a while, but then it started to sting me a little, so I left it, and I've not looked back, to be honest with you. And this is basically the reason why. We were making nice moves. This was a nice looking chart, really, to start with, and this is when I started getting interested in it, because it was making nice big steps, and we made a nice big move here, and everybody was happy, you know. Then it kind of fell down as the market fell, which was fine, and it looks like it wanted to recover, but oh dear, what has happened here? We had super death cross, and then this has just been tailing off ever since. Now everything has been tailing off, really, so I can't really say that this is much worse than any other chart out there, but it is pretty bad. And there's one thing that's pretty bad about it, is that our Satoshi levels have come down to 4 Satoshis from a maximum of, where was our highest level here? 37. So it wasn't a great deal, it wasn't a massive amount of Satoshi to start with, but to come down to this level of 4, it's making this coin, it's going to become next to worthless. And there's a few things fundamentally that aren't quite right with it, despite looking at the chart. Fundamentally, there's an enormous total supply. I mean, it's unbelievably large, it's huge. I don't believe that there's any, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe there's any way for those coins to be depleted. So what's in circulation, you know, there's no burning, there's no halving, there's nothing like that. There's no built-in inflation from what I can gather. The only thing that I can understand about it, really, when you stand back and think about it, is that people get given BitTorrent tokens to seed files and can spend them to speed up the files. It's not something really that should be gaining any value if that's its use case. Yeah, I mean, theoretically it could be used by lots and lots of people, but it's kind of like a self-perpetuating currency, really. That's you know, people get awarded it for doing something, people spend it to do the reverse. So you earn it to seed, you spend it to download. It's not got any reason really for it to have any kind of inflation on that, and with such an enormous total supply, it doesn't matter if there's 100 million users of uTorrent. I'd be very surprised if even 1% of that were using actual BitTorrent tokens yet, because it's not very clear to me exactly how. I mean, it's easy enough to understand you seed and get rewarded with tokens, but it's not very clear to me how. What files I should be seeding and this, that, and the other, you know. So it's not public knowledge how to utilize it correctly for earning the tokens. So really, where we're going to go from here, we've still got this very steep death cross that's playing out, and as we're just making new lows almost every day, there's not even any chance to recover. We have to have this green, this purple cross above these two guys, and at the moment they're just falling apart. They're barely making any attempt to get closer to each other. So we're going to definitely, I would say, meet our all-time low here, and probably then some. So all the way down to 0.00032, and then probably some more. Satoshi levels, I mean, we're at 4 now. Where's that really going to take us? My theory on the whole crypto market in general, excluding Bitcoin, so when we come to look at things like alts generally as a whole picking up pace, it's not going to be till at least November. When you look at the crypto market cap chart, it just shows everything with a big death cross, very steep, with not any signs of recovery really. So the earliest I would expect to see any kind of recovery on that whole alt market would be November to December, and that would be the earliest. And I think when it does start to pick up, I think this will be one of the last guys to benefit from that, just from what I can see here. So I mean, yeah, if I was in this coin, even at this point, I would probably just cut your losses, because it's still got plenty of room to fall, and maybe, you know, like I say, 2 or 3 Satoshis. I'd be surprised to see it at 1 Satoshi, but it's possible, definitely. Doesn't mean it's probable, but it's definitely possible. So you know, I'm sorry I couldn't really be much help with this one. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that it's bearish, and it's going to remain bearish for as long as I can see. Anyway, I hope you watched. I hope you enjoyed that. For what it's worth. Have a nice evening. Take care.